Did you know that the source of Broken Arrow's drinking water is the Verdigris River? In April 2014, the state-of-the-art $70 million Verdigris water treatment plant was completed and began producing water from the Verdigris and delivering it to Broken Arrow's customers. Would you believe that since 2014, the plant has produced an annual average of 3.8 billion gallons of drinking water for our Broken Arrow customers? The process of producing our drinking water begins at the pump station on the Verdigris River. The station has two 36-inch pipes that extend about 80 feet out into the river. The pipes have screens on them to protect the raw water pumps by filtering out large objects and are cleaned daily by pushing a burst of air back through them. There are 3 pumps located inside the station that can pump over 30 million gallons of water each day. The water is pumped from the river about half a mile into 2 pre-sedimentation storage basins. These basins can hold up to 1 month's supply of water and provide a buffer in case the water quality in the river suddenly changes due to a storm or other event. They also begin the settling process, allowing the heavier particles in the raw water to settle to the bottom of these basins. Next, the water flows into sedimentation basins where most of the remaining particles are removed. A chemical called sodium permanganate is added at the raw water pump station and just before these basins to help with the removal of iron, manganese, and other substances. We then add another chemical, aluminum chlorohydrate, as a coagulant. Coagulants are mixed into the water to begin the processes known as coagulation and flocculation for particle removal. These particles tend to be highly charged. Picture the ends of magnets pushing away from each other. Coagulants help neutralize the charges to allow them to stick together so that they become heavy enough to settle to the bottom of the basins. Toward the end of the basins are structures called plates that help the settling process as the water flows up through them. The clearest water is then collected from the top using a level edge called a weir. This clarified water then flows into the main plant building where the treatment continues. The particles that have collected at the bottom of the sedimentation basins are pumped into a different basin where they can be dried, scooped up, and trucked to the landfill. Back inside the main building, the water is pumped once again to push it through the rest of the plant. Our next process is filtration, and our water plant has some of the most advanced filters available called low-pressure microfiltration membrane filters. These membranes have very small openings that are just 1/10 of a micron. How small is a micron? Well, a human hair is about 70 microns wide, so very, very small. The openings in our filters are so small that they filter out all of the remaining particles, including bacteria and most viruses. Turbidity is the standard used to measure particle removal in units called NTUs. The federal standard for drinking water is that the water must measure less than 3/10 of an NTU. Our filters make water up to 5 times better than this standard. So why is particle removal so important? Well, it's not just that particles make the water look unclean, they also hide bacteria and viruses from the chemicals used in the disinfection process. After filtration, we add a chemical called sodium hypochlorite, which is a type of chlorine. This is the same chlorine found in household bleach. At the Verdigris plant, we make our own bleach solution using salt and electricity. The chlorine solution disinfects the water, which ensures that there are no bacteria or viruses in the water that could make us sick. We then add more chemicals to prepare the water for storage and pumping into the water distribution system. First, we add a small amount of ammonia to change the chlorine to a more stable form called chloramines. Chloramines last longer and provide continued disinfection in the 600 miles of pipe that we use to deliver water to your home or business. Next, we add a small amount of fluoride to help prevent dental cavities. Lastly, we use sodium hydroxide to adjust the pH of the water to make it non-corrosive. Now the water is safe to drink and can be stored in our 6 million gallon storage basin at the plant until it is needed by our customers. Water is pumped from the clear well into the distribution system based on the amount of water used by our customers using the 900 horsepower high service pumps. On an average day, the plant pumps about 10 million gallons of water. That's over 250 million pounds of water being pumped each day through over 600 miles of water lines. These pumps do a lot of work and as a result, our annual electric bill runs over $500,000 each year. In the event of a power outage, we have emergency generators that provide power to the plant to allow us to continue to process and pump water. The entire plant is controlled by a computer system called SCADA that helps control and monitor all the steps in the treatment process, including the water quality. Part of the monitoring process includes online water quality monitors that continually measure many different parameters every second of every day. We also take samples and perform analysis throughout the day to ensure that the monitors are properly calibrated. This system also tracks how much water is needed out in the distribution system. Just like the Clearwell, the 6 storage tanks located throughout the city help ensure that the water is available as it is needed by our customers. The plant is staffed 24 hours a day, every day throughout the year by 15 state licensed water professionals. Our professionals operate and maintain the facility and ensure that you always have safe water whenever you turn on your tap. Thank you for watching. This is a production of the City of Broken Arrow, the city where opportunity lives.